What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing fine wherever you are today. Again, this is your Ginger Stories with another video, and I hope that we all get to get value, we all get to learn out of this video. But now, what about today's discussion? Today's discussion is about the evilness of democracy. And today's presentation is going to be done by Minister Louis Farrakhan. Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is from the black community. He is the leader of Islam, but then that's not important. What's important is perspective in regards to what really democracy is, to what the extent of its evilness and what it has caused America. Look, we have philosophers like Plato, who deeply discussed about the evil or the shortcomings of democracy. And Plato argued that allowing masses to govern themselves could result in a poor decision making because most people lack the wisdom and knowledge to govern effectively. He believed that ruling class of philosopher kings guided by reason and knowledge would be better suited to lead a society as just compared to just choosing a bunch of people to lead, people who don't understand the essence of having the power. Looking at people like Plato's view in regards to democracy, he says that democracy could lead to chaos and eventually devolve into a tyranny, as unqualified leaders rise to power by pandering to the desires of the masses rather than prioritizing justice and a common good. So this is not far much with what Dr. Louis Farrakhan is going to talk about in this video, that I believe that it's really important if we talk about the part of the evilness or the shortcomings of democracy, looking at his lenses and the way he defines democracy. That's what's really important. So I want us to watch this video, and then I'll be back. I'll offer you my commentary, or I'll give you my 2 cents in regards to this that I believe is important. So let's dive right and watch the video, because I believe it's important. Oh, if you're watching this video for the first time, just before forgetting, kindly please subscribe to the channel, like the video, join the membership if you'll be pleased by the video. If you'll be pleased with the video, you could consider subscribing. If you won't be pleased by the video, it's okay. At the end of the day, this is just a video which helps us educate each other. So let's dive right into it.
Get a book that details how the Federal Reserve Bank came into existence. The boys that print your money, that's the real power. And they got us killing each other over this. Selling out our future over this. Jews set up the communist camp. Karl Marx was a Jew. Jews set up democracy or capitalism. You really want democracy? Let me break it down and show you what it means. You want democracy? You got democracy. You want democracy? You got democracy. What is democracy? Let's break the word down. Democracy. You got it? Democracy. Pardon me. I only went to the 3rd grade. Democracy. That is an English word that has its root in Greek. So in order to understand the real meaning of democracy, you got to go to Greek. So the word demo comes from the Greek word demos. And krasi comes from the Greek root kratis, K-R-A-T-I-S. Demos kratis. When you bring it up into Latin, it becomes demon, D-E-M-O-N, C-R-A-C-I, cracy. Then they drop the N and change the I to a Y, and you get democracy. Well, demos krates and democracy means the rule not of the people, but the rule of the devil. Democracy. So when they say we want democracy in Africa, we want the rule of the devil, not the rule of the people. They have never wanted the rule of the people. They want the rule of a few to subjugate the masses so that the few can live in luxury as bloodsuckers of the poor. Democracy. It's the only game in town now. Democracy. And like it's written, I think, in the book of Jeremiah, Mr. Bush can say, as it's written there, I sit as a queen and shall see no sorrow. But God spoke and said, O virgin daughter of Babylon, come and sit thou down in the dust. See, Babylon was like that. She was a great city that dealt in commercial enterprise, and she waxed rich and strong, but in her midst were the Hebrews. The Hebrews that didn't belong to the Babylonians. They were taken out of their natural environment and brought into a strange land among strange people, taught a strange learning and a strange language, and given strange names, until one day Daniel arose and saw the handwriting on the wall, and he told the wicked king that his kingdom had been weighed in the balance and found wanting. O virgin daughter of Babylon. She wasn't just a daughter, she was a virgin. Oh, that's a description. You know, a virgin means untouched, unspotted. That's the way America sees herself. She's destroyed nations, but no nation has bombed her. Not one of America's cities has suffered what America has put on cities of nations around this world. You that visit America, you can fly from the East Coast to the West Coast. You see an unbroken string of marvelous cities and towns that have never known the ravages of war. Not from the outside. It only knew war in the Civil War, in the War of 1812. And those were wars, but not since America has been developed in the modern context. The shock of the hour. Now, remember how I started the lecture? Talking about God in person? That's how we're going to end it. You see, if this is Israel, the real Israel, the hidden Israel, then if you look in the book of Revelations, you see a mystery Babylon that was like a golden chalice on the outside, but filth and abomination of every kind on the inside. Here's America, the melting pot, where you can walk the streets and hear so many different languages. It's like the Tower of Babel. And the people in America are confused and one against the other, and that confusion is waxing stronger every day. But she's still the only game in town. But in her midst is a whole people that didn't come on the Mayflower, that didn't come seeking freedom, but came in the holds of ships as slaves. The same Jewish people that say they're our friends were the principal architects of the slave trade. They were the principal beneficiaries of the slave trade. We have this documented, sisters and brothers, from their own scholarly writings, not from the mouth of Louis Farrakhan. They were the principal architects in distributing the slaves. They were the auctioneers that sold the slaves. They were the plantation owners that bought the slaves. They were the masters that worked the slaves. They were the ones that helped to rob us of our minds, of our names, our language, our culture, our religion, our God, so that today you know nothing of yourself because of your friends. It was Jews who fought against Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines, Christophe. It was Jews who worked against Frederick Douglass, Jews who worked against Marcus Garvey, Jews that worked against Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Jews in the government, in the Justice Department, Jews that worked against the prophets of God.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you get to understand the perspective of Minister Louis Farrakhan and how he gives how he sees democracy, how he defines democracy, and how he thinks about democracy, you know. And amongst other things that he discussed about democracy, I'm also here to give you scholarly what I think about democracy as a person. And this is my presentation in regards to what I feel like these are the problems that democracy is causing us. Remember, I introduced the video by talking about scholars like Plato, who saw democracy as a scheme of introducing tyranny, and tyranny of the majority is one of the first talking points. One of the most known criticism of democracy, especially direct democracy, is the concept of the tyranny of the majority, right? In democracy systems, you know, decisions are made by majority rule, which can lead to oppression of marginalized or the minority groups. Philosopher Alexis de Tocqueville warned that democracy, when unchecked, could allow the majority to impose its will on the minority, leading to injustices. In some democracies, for instance, laws or policies are enacted disappropriately harm racial, ethnic, or religious minorities because of the majority population that supports them. And this is a good case with what's happening in the United States. When you look at the group of people, that leads or rules the United States, they are the majority. But again, you come to ask your question, what about the minority? What about the minority? What about the group of people who are, or the laws doesn't, favor them that much, right? So you might want to ask yourself that question. So another thing that I'll also like to talk about is populism and emotional decision making. And that's another shortcoming of democracy, right? Democracy can sometimes lead to populism, where leaders rise to power by appealing to the emotions, fears, and desires of the masses, often through simplistic solutions to complex problems. This undermine rational decision making and can lead to elections of demagogues who exploit public sentiment for their own gain. I don't know how this is relevant today, but it is so relevant that you get to see this, that you get to know this, because look, people appeal to you emotionally, but will you eat the emotions? That's a good question. We have cases like people talking like Kamala Harris is not black, oh Trump this and that, oh Biden this and that. At the end of the day, look at who will serve you. Look at who will, his objectives or his goals as a leader or as a person who is running for a presidential seat. What have they put for you, for instance, as black people? What have they put to black people? Or what have they put that can benefit black people? Sometimes we need to ask ourselves that question because it is really important for us to get to look at things objectively rather than just appealing to to the emotions of the people, right? So that's another shortcoming of democracy that we also need to talk about. The third shortcoming that I'll be talking about is short termism as my shortcoming. Short termism. Okay, what do I mean by short termism? This is a situation where democracies are often criticized for being inherently short term focused. They are only things which are superficial that they are going to tell you. They're not going to tell you things that are, things that are evergreen or goals that are evergreen or goals that are going to help you as a community or goals that are going to move you together as a people, right? So, as elected officials are incentivized to make decisions that will ensure their re-election rather than those that serve long-term good for the nation or humanity, this can result in the neglect of critical issues like climate change, healthcare, infrastructure that require long-term planning, right? Sometimes politicians may avoid tough decisions that could hurt them politically in the next election cycle, such as reducing deficits or implementing environmental regulations. All these things, all these people they'll be just telling you is something which is really short term, something which is really doesn't even help you as a person. The short term goals, are we gonna build what, are we gonna make what, oh women gonna be doing this or men are gonna be doing this, but what about the long term goals? What about that? That's something that will serve, these people. That's the question that we need to look at these things critically, right? So I'm also going to be talking about influence of money and corruption. That's why Luis Farrakhan is saying democracy is shaitan. All these things are being associated with satanism. You need to get money, fast goals, things which are not long term. Money and corruption. Just look at those things. So, in many modern democracies, there is significant concern over the influence of money in politics, whether individuals, corporations, and interest groups can wield disproportionately power by funding political campaigns and lobbying politicians, effectively subverting democratic principles of equal representation. Um, in the United States, dark money and special interest group can significantly influence election and policy making, often resulting in policies that benefit the wealth at the expense of the general population. This is so sad, but it's really happening, and you really need to know that this is happening, and that's a short term of democracy, democracy, democracy. Voter ignorance and manipulation, amongst other things, which really happened you know, uh, with democracy. Another critique is that many voters in democracy systems may lack knowledge, education, or expertise to make informed decisions or complex issues. Voters can easily manipulated by misleading information, media bias, or propaganda, which undermines the integrity of the democratic process. So, coming to look at how these things affect each other, you guys are ganging up, electing a person who doesn't know shit about anything, and then once they start failing, you start crying. Yet they paid you, yet they appeal to you emotionally, and now you're crying because you're not reaping the fruits, or your votes are not fruitful, or the decisions that you make are not fruitful. So now that you've ganged up, you've bribed people, you've paid a bunch of people who doesn't even understand the people that they're voting for, now it starts backfiring to you, and then now you start crying, oh, like, oh, they played us, oh, they did things because of voter ignorance and the manipulation that they give you, because it relies on the massiveness of people, and most people don't know much about democracy and its evil, or the evil that it comes with, right? So I would like to talk about inefficiency and gridlock. Democracy, that's my sixth point, inefficiency and gridlock. Democracy can also be inefficient because it requires compromise, negotiations, and deliberation to reach decisions. In some cases, this results in gridlock, where no significant action is taken on important issues because of partisan divisions or competing interests. In the US, the political polarization between Democrats and Republicans often lead to stalemate in Congress, where critical legislation is delayed or blocked entirely. So that's really so much going on with with democracy. I'm also going to be talking about historical failures of democracy. There are significant historical failures of democracy. Probably you've heard of Weimar Republic, Weimar Republic, the Democratic Weimar Republic in Germany gave rise to Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party, leading to one of the most devastating periods in human history. Just recently, Venezuela. Democratic elections brought leaders to power in Venezuela who implement policies that led to economic collapse and widespread suffering of the population. There is so much going in Venezuela because of democracy, right? So, that was my 2 cents in regards to this. I hope that we all really get to learn from the videos that I share with you. I hope they show you another perspective of maybe what you might think or how you might want to, see all these things. So this is your presenter, Eugene Talk Stories. And again, if you're watching this video for the first time, I'll really, really appeal to you to join my membership, check my Patreon, and you know, get really to see what I can offer you in my membership. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.